Hello, all. This is Dr. Dave Masnack talking to you about reciprocity.com. The E is written with a 3. And in this particular video, I actually want to talk to you about what is the best negotiation strategy that you can choose going forward in terms of developing a long and successful business life. If you don't know, I'm actually a professor of innovation, strategy, and entrepreneurship. And this is one thing we do actually talk about a fair bit. And there is a fair bit of research on negotiation. Particularly, there's a lot of stuff in that game theory and things like that have talked about this. And one of the things that we do know, the best particularly strategy for most situations is to think in terms of the long term. There's only a few very rare circumstances where you sort of should think in terms of the short term and do things in a short-term manner, but most of the things that you do in your day-to-day life, vast majority, 95% of them, are going to be these long-term things. And you should be thinking about building relationships with other people and think about negotiations not as a one-time thing, but thinking about it as a long-term sort of investment in a relationship. And so the reason why is because when you sort of think in terms of transactions, or you think in terms of I'm going to get the best particular transaction this go round, what ends up happening is that relationship is going to end very abruptly because you're going to burn the other person and you're probably never ever going to deal business with that particular person ever again. And it's just going to terminate that relationship. You're probably never going to have a really good feeling with that particular person if you're sort of on the receiving side that they're kind of negotiating the best possible deal. But then, if you are on the person that's actually doing that, right, trying to negotiate the best possible deal, is you're going to sacrifice the relationship going forward, and they're not probably going to give you opportunities in the future. Now, I'm not saying, kind of getting away with, just doing like um, giving away stuff and whatnot. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about just being fair and making sure that you sort of have this fair idea in your head and going above and beyond what you should do in any particular negotiation and to help out that particular person, right? Because what this does, it builds trust between the two people or the two parties, whether it's another company or another person, and you build relationships and build trust. So the next time that there is something that comes up, you go and actually talk to that person and you give them opportunities that you wouldn't have thought about before. If I had a really good business deal, so if I go to a car dealership and the dealership was really fair to me and their salespeople were very fair to me, and I buy a car from them. So in the future, I'm probably more likely to actually go back to them. So one dealership we went to, my wife bought a car last spring, and we went to this particular dealership, and they actually had like food, and they had a full kitchen. They fed us lunch. We felt really good and positive about this thing. It's a really small investment. But the next time I'm actually going to buy a car, I'm probably going to contact that person and contact that particular dealership and see what kind of deals that they can give me versus going to another particular sort of dealership out there, because I know that I can trust them. I feel that there was a bit of a relationship that was built with them. Now, so sometimes this is not always the case, right? So sometimes doing this sort of long-lasting relationship, somebody is going to burn that relationship, and what you end up doing, so this is the best possible sort of strategy going forward, is called a tit-for-tat strategy. And that's really, if somebody burns the relationship and does something not so good for you, then you just do the equal amount of the equal sort of negative thing to that particular person. So for example, if you're working with them on a particular project and they don't do a particular thing, well, then you don't work with that person again, right? Or you try to avoid it as much as possible. And that's going to save you a lot of effort, and that actually is the most efficient sort of strategy going forward. There's this guy, Axelrod, at University of Michigan, that is sort of showing this this behavior is really efficient in doing this tit-for-tat strategy, is thinking in terms of the long term, right? That you're constantly thinking about long-term negotiations, and you just do what the other person is doing. So if somebody invests in the relationship and they go above and beyond the relationship, then you probably actually want to invest in the relationship as well, so you can build a long-lasting relationship. Because what ends up happening is you will both get the best possible opportunities in the future, and you are going to probably get more transactions going forward and more deals going forward than you would have gotten without that. So think, for example, the car dealership, right? So I might have dealt with a particular car dealer that I really liked, and it was a salesperson that was at that particular car dealership. Well, if I call them up and I find out that that salesperson moved to the dealer next door, and I built a relationship with them, then I'm more likely to actually deal with that, go to the other person and go to the other dealer because I really like that particular salesperson, right? I felt that there was actually a relationship there. And so the idea is, unless you're in this really weird certain situation, so for example, maybe you're an FBI interrogator or something like that, and you're trying to do something in a very short-term sort of manner, the best possible strategy is always think about the long term and sort of build relationships, because you never know what's going to happen in the long run. Every single time that I call upon somebody or I think of opportunities, I always think about the people that I trust. I don't go to the people that I've never dealt with before. And those people that have built trust with me are the ones that actually went above and beyond what they should have done in a particular relationship. And that goes for everything, right? So if you're dealing with, maybe you bring in a contractor in your house, that is definitely going to be the case. You're going to call upon that same contractor in the future because you built trust with them. And this sort of long-lasting best negotiation strategy, or thinking about the long term and sort of treating somebody with respect and doing this sort of tit-for-tat strategy, that's going to help you out a lot more than you ever think it's going to be. Not in the immediate term. It's not going to feel that way in the immediate term, but in the long run, so I'm talking 5-10 years out, you're going to get a lot more opportunities, and you're going to gain a lot more business if you treat somebody very fairly. So that's all I wanted to talk about today in terms of strategy and innovation. You can watch some of the other videos. Again, I try to put out a video every day. I've been doing that for a year now. I'm not sure how long I'll keep that up, but make sure you give me a thumbs up and do subscribe to the YouTube channel if you like this video, so I know which ones to put out. All right, take care and have a good day. Bye.